right. Publish. Sweet. First blog post done. Let's go to Google Analytics and wait for some traffic.
Hey Ricky, it's your coworker over here, Anna. Just wondering if you wanted to take a lunch break, maybe go outside. It's a nice day. Get some vitamin D. I don't know, it's been 6 months.
But I'm still waiting for traffic. Oh, hey, I have an article ranking #1 now. The reality is, it's really common that it's going to take 6 to 8 months for the first content on a brand new blog to really hit the level of traffic where it's going to land.
Everybody goes through the ghost town phase, as we like to call it. If, it were easy, everybody would be doing it, right? And this is a good thing. This is a barrier to entry. And so that means that only the strong will survive. But really, it really takes a mentally strong person to be able to get through this phase, because a lot of times we hear from members and, we do it ourselves from time to time. We tell ourselves stories of, how we're not going to make it. But that's really just from you. And so you have to be your own best friend and tell yourself, really, I am going to make it through this. I will get through this. This is normal. I just need to keep working and publishing consistently. And if I do all of those things and write really good content and do the search analysis good, then the results will come later.
Yeah, so we'll give you a little bit of an action plan here of things you can do during this phase. We're going to focus on some specific things we can do that are going to help give us the highest likelihood of success. Because when we're not getting any feedback early on, it's hard to know what to improve. So we're going to help you know that you're doing it the right way from the very beginning. Let the ghost town phase prevent others from succeeding. You've got this. I know you do. All right, so let's dive into the specific things that we can do. The first thing we want to do is we want to evaluate how well the niche that we're in fits for us. A lot of people get hung up on what's the best niche? What's the most profitable niche? But keep in mind, if it's going to be 6 to 8 months of slogging through this, you better pick a niche that you're not going to get super bored with. So pick something that's a good fit for you and that you can feel good about. We do have lots of content on this channel about selecting a good niche, so I'll put a link in the description to actually a playlist full of videos about selecting a niche, so you can kind of get through that. But that's really the first thing that's going to help ensure your success.
So when picking a niche, don't feel like it has to be the perfect niche and spend way too much time thinking about it. Most any niche can work. It's just all about the way you approach it. For example, we are working on the website cookforfolks.com.
Yep.
And Ricky and I both have an interest in cooking and barbecuing and meal planning. And so when I'm working on the blog, it makes me really excited to work on it because I already have that interest in life. And so I enjoy doing my search analysis. I enjoy taking pictures and doing original research. So it makes it exciting for me to get up and work on it every day, as opposed to me, say, I am doing a blog about mining or something. I know nothing about mining and I'm not passionate about it, so I would never do that.
That's a great point. It also is going to make your content way better. Because when you actually know something about the topic and you're not just basing it off of stuff that you read 3 minutes before, your content is going to be so much better, so much more relatable for the people who are also learning about this topic. So very important that you at least have some interest so that you can learn more about your niche. It's also going to come up again a little bit later as we talk about content quality. So the next thing that we want you to do is focus on developing some authority within your topic. We call this topical authority. Pretty good name, huh? Very descriptive. When it comes to developing authority, there are a lot of ways to do it. But what we found is actually one of the best ways to build authority within a space is to write enough content that you've covered the topic pretty thoroughly. And so one of the things that's going to be important for you to do as you're writing early content on your website is don't spread out the topics of individual blog posts too broadly across the topic of the website. So, if we picked a niche like cooking, we could have some recipes, we could have some food safety stuff, we could have some stuff about kitchen gadgets, we could go crazy across the whole spectrum in our first 30 articles. And you'd have 2 articles in sort of each sort of subcategory within cooking. And that's not going to develop any authority within any of those. You're just going to be very, very surface level. Instead, what we want to do is pick one aspect of the topic, and we're going to cover that with 5 to 10 blog posts. We're going to pick a second one and cover that with another 10, and a third one and cover that with another 10. Your first 30 blog posts shouldn't extend beyond about 3 pretty closely aligned subcategories, things that are fairly specific, fairly narrow. Again, by doing that, we're just going to build up a lot more authority within those 3 sort of subcategories. And that's actually going to help with the authoritativeness of the whole website as we start to expand into other topics.
And that's really helped us with Cook for Folks. Again, we kind of started with several different categories, and that has helped Google recognize what we are trying to do and has been able to give us that that expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And so Google's really starting to recognize the types of articles that we write and that we do a good job of them. We started out with a few different categories, such as food safety, food quantities, and catering were kind of the main ones. And so we wrote several articles.
Like a lot of articles.
Yeah, more than several. Let's not tone it down here. But Google really started to recognize, like, we are the authority on those topics, and now we're ranking fast.
By 8 months, like, we would write a new article, and it wasn't like, okay, well, now let's wait another 4 months. No, those articles, by about 8 months, were hitting, you publish it, and it's on the first page of Google within a couple of days.
Yeah.
That becomes the norm once you're an authority, once the search engines start to pick you up as somebody that they can trust with accurate and good and helpful content. So then the next thing we're going to focus on during this phase, and really always, is content quality. We want to make sure that the quality of our content is good. We want every article to be the most helpful resource we can create for that topic. So if you're not getting feedback yet and you're like, well, okay, I don't know if this article's any good. Well, okay, look at what other articles are ranking for that search term that we're trying to rank for, and just make something way better. I'm not talking about taking everything they all wrote and putting it into one blog post. I'm talking about going above and beyond. So one of the things we're going to do during this phase is we're going to do a little bit of a thought exercise. We like these.
Yes.
And Anna's really good at this kind of stuff. We want to take our website first, and we want to envision what would it look like in this niche to have the best online resource, the best website. So we're not just talking articles. We're not just talking content here. We're talking, what would that look like? What sort of services might be offered? What sort of help would there be? What sort of tools would there be? And we want to just think about what that is, and then take the first step toward creating that sort of a website. And I think we could do the same sort of a thing with ourselves individually, becoming that future content creator that creates that sort of a website.
Yeah, I really enjoy doing this in other aspects of my life, but if you have a goal, say you want to have a full-time income, you want to leave your job and you want to have freedom, why not start being that person right now? Be that person today who has that successful blog and be that authority in your niche and have the best resources out there and the best articles that are the most helpful. You can start doing that today. And so stepping into that role right now is going to help you every single day look toward your goal, and it's going to make this ghost town phase go so much faster and easier for you, especially mentally.
And this doesn't mean like, be that today as in like, go quit your job right now.
No,
I'm
not saying that. What it means
is like, what does that person do, right? Let's say I work for myself, I blog and I create content about a particular topic, about cooking, and I have the best website on the planet about cooking. What does that person do every day? What sort of content does that person write? What sort of a routine does that person have? What activities and behaviors do they have? And just start having those now. And as you do that, envisioning that future becomes easy, and creating that future then, I think, becomes so much easier. It's an amazing mental exercise that's going to pull you through that ghost town phase, because the stories that we talked about earlier, they totally change, right? Okay, so past the mental exercise, which honestly I think is one of the best things here, because like Anna said in the very beginning, it's the mentally strong, those who don't tell themselves those negative stories, but who envision that, that story of the future. Those are the ones who make it through this phase. So that's really, really key. But back to another sort of actionable step is we want to then, once we have some content, 30 to 50 blog posts. Now we can spend a little bit more time on industry outreach and participating within our industry. This is going to be one of those things that is going to drive traffic to your blog faster and build up the EAT that Anna was talking about. But we don't really want to get hung up in trying to do a ton of this until you actually have content on your website. So here's what this looks like. It looks like getting yourself interviewed on somebody's podcast. That's not actually that hard to do. There's a free service out there called Podmatch. I'll link to it in the description, where it's like a dating site for like people that have a podcast and are trying to interview people and people that want to be interviewed on podcasts. They'll link you up with people. You can search through and find other people, and you can get yourself interviewed on podcasts. Likewise, Haro, H-A-R-O, help a reporter out. This website syncs up reporters who are not experts on a particular topic, but they want to write about that topic with industry experts, people that will be a source for the reporter. And you get to be the industry expert because you have the niche website on that topic. Mm-hmm. What happens when we do this? They quote you in their article. They link back to your website. You get traffic from their source, and you get seen as an actual expert. Those two activities alone are going to be well worth the effort and well worth your time. Once you have enough content on your website that if somebody looks at it, they're like, oh, yeah, this person knows what they're talking about.
Okay, so if you are like, wow, they are talking about me right now, you are not alone, because we have lots of people inside Project 24 that are going through the exact same thing as you are. But the amazing thing about it is we have this great community of people who help each other out. Mm-hmm. And we also have these amazing coaching calls where we here at Project 24 and Income School help you out throughout your journey and kind of just talk you off the ledge, basically, because everyone goes through this. If it were easy, like we mentioned, everybody would be doing it. But that's the beautiful thing. The people who are going to work really hard, who are mentally strong, and don't let those stories get in their way, are the people who are going to succeed if they do all the right things and are doing it for the right reasons.
And I think it's a lot easier to be mentally strong when you're feeling down and somebody else in the community comes in and says, no, I looked at your site. It looks good. You're doing the right things. You've got this. Just give it another week, give it another month. Mm-hmm. That has, I think, helped a lot of people to not quit. So I invite you to go join the community in Project 24 if you haven't already. And for all of you, good luck and be strong, and we'll see you next time.